Hi there, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday morning and afternoon. Hey, it's nearly the bank holiday weekend. Amazing. I am here today on our very last interview of the week with Marie from Rowe Travel. She's a fantastic friend and a wonderful business owner, and really thrilled to speak with her today. Welcome, Marie.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having
I'm
me.
good. I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you very much.
Fab. So Marie has got a really interesting story when it comes to her business. She is from the company Travel Counselors, which is just a huge, huge accolade, and she's done wonders in her business. But it's not just the travel company that you've got as well. You've got lots of different strings to your bow. So why don't I pass over the mic to you, so to speak, and if you want to start off by telling us your history and what it is that you do.
Well, maybe not my entire history, but I can definitely tell you my history in the world of travel, which is that, yeah, as you said, I run a travel agency business, Rowe Travel, which is backed by Travel Counselors, fabulous company, and as well as that, I run a travel blog, Rowe Travel, and that has an Instagram account that goes alongside it. So I think my all the aspects of my business and personal brand are all about my passion for travel, really.
Yeah, and that really comes across with the content that you share with your clients and prospective audience, the imagery that you put out there, and even down to the comments that you're creating and conversing with people. So, how would you? How let's talk about the social media element then and the blog first of all, because then that will feed into your travel business.
Yeah.
How do
Well,
you plan it all?
well, most of it's real, and all of it is real. My own stuff, the content I use on my blog, it's all about my experiences, and sharing those with great photography, which is places that I've been. And my Instagram account then is all my own photography of places that I've been. And they all tie in nicely with running a travel business, because I like to call it the little love triangle: business, blog, Instagram. Um, it gives me everything I need to be able to sell travel to the places that I've been to with real stories, because
Yeah.
I've been there and I've seen it and I can show you. You know this as much as anyone. There's a lot of deception,
Yeah.
especially in travel on Instagram, with maybe what you see and what is actually real.
Uh
Um,
huh.
and I've got a real thing about that. So I'm quite pro what is honest and what is real. And I do see a lot of heavily edited destination photography on Instagram, which, if you didn't know better, is the most incredible thing you've ever seen. But I also
Yeah.
see, yeah, I see a lot of Instagrammers revealing their editing secrets. And when you see the before and after, you think, oh, that's
Wow.
just fake. And do you know what else is lazy? Like, do a good job in the first place and you won't have to use 1,000 filters.
Exactly that. But it's like you say, it's deceptive. And there's not, when you're selling that destination, then for it, different if you were just a blogger and it was you're not selling that space or that trip or that service. But when you're selling that, you've got to be authentic and you've got to have those values in there as well. So that's so wonderful that you can say that this is the real deal. This is the real what it looks like. These are the real sunsets you're going to achieve if you were to take pictures there. And I think that's so fundamental. It runs quite deep in your business. So tell me about the
Yeah.
photography side of things then. I remember reaching out to you probably about a year or so ago and was like, wow, amazing pictures. What camera did you take them on? And you came back saying, it was my Samsung. I'm like, no, surely not. So tell us
Yeah.
about that journey.
I think it might have been the start of last year. I upgraded to Samsung Galaxy S10 with triple camera. Woohoo!
Oh,
Um, didn't really mean much to me at the time until I started taking pictures. And it was when I was in Italy last April, I remember. I took a absolute banger. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I did that with my phone. Yeah, and since then it's made me want to take more pictures and nicer pictures to use in my blogs. I do have a camera, but to be honest, since the technology is so good these days on
yeah.
smartphones, it rarely makes an appearance. So
Wow.
yeah, the Samsung is fantastic, and yeah, the photography that stuff you've commented on, well, here's proof it's absolutely achievable with a smartphone, if you know what you're doing. And of course that includes all the wonderful things you teach around lighting and focus and composition and those things. But yeah, I was very happy with it.
I mean, it looks sensational. The colours, the vibrancy, just your real eye for the details as well, for the big pictures and the sweeping landscapes, right down to, is it pizza that you had photographed in Italy? So there's some real great treasures in there. So what would you say would be your tips then for when you are on holiday, when we're free from this lockdown, we'll all be running to you to book our holidays. What would you say are the tips to be photographing when you are abroad or anywhere on holiday?
Well, I think if you've got a view in front of you and you want to share that, you want to be able to show people exactly what you were looking at when you get back home. And of course, that's what I'm really passionate about being able to do. I would say just first of all, take your time. You know, there's so many people. I'll tell you what, my mum's one of these. She'll take 500 pictures of the same thing really quicker than I've taken one.
Slow down, it's fine.
Yeah. I think just take your time, really look at what's in front of you and how you can make that look best on the camera. And then tip number 2 would probably be make sure the horizon is straight. Because if it's not, and you end up rotating that in when you're editing it to fix it, you're going to lose quite a lot of your picture. So straight horizon. And I guess it's, unless you're photographing a sunset, it's always kind of better if any direct sunlight is behind you rather than in front of you. So think about the time of day if you can. But take your time and hold the camera straight and it will look amazing.
So they are the
I'm sure you can add to that.
I can, but they are the best ones to start with. And I see so many pictures where the horizons are drunk and they don't look great.
That's my mum.
Best not say any more on that one, hey. She's amazing. But then absolutely, so these are real great fundamentals when it comes to photographing the holiday, but let's kind of bring it back round to you and your personal brand. How do you photograph oneself when they're on holiday, or if you're having to do personal brand images of yourself at home, because we can't have photographers at the moment, so it's a real tricky one. So what's your thought process on that one?
I think a lot of that is about planning. So I need to think ahead about what I want the photography for. So when I'm on holiday, I want great pictures of the views for my blog and my Instagram, but I also want to be able to talk about it in a maybe more professional business way for my Facebook and LinkedIn channels and my business. So maybe I would take pictures more about my actual journey. So it might be things like letting people know that I'm going somewhere and where I'm going. So maybe I'll design some kind of, I don't know, at the airport, I might get my passport out and my currency and my coffee and, the travel guide and that kind of thing. And that it's almost like thinking more like stock imagery. You can get that stuff everywhere, but I want mine to be real me. It's me, it's personal. That's my passport, and maybe some people might not know that, but I want to know. I want to know that's my passport. And also then think more about stories I might want to tell about culture. So that's where maybe food comes in, or events and those kinds of things. And then even when I'm back in the UK and working, I produce loads of content, newsletters and things like that. So it's more like lifestyle brand stuff that I can do at my desk. Does that include a map or a stress ball of the world, or what stuff that kind of relates to my message, but that I can do at home on my desk with a light and represent my message or my business.
Exactly that. I mean, you have lots of like travel bits and pieces. Oh, that's a funny sound there. That's it. You've got travel bits and pieces around your home, so you've got your lovely map of the world behind you. So photographing that, or even taking that off the wall and laying it on the floor and maybe doing a bit of a flat lay with it. There's so many different elements and aspects that you could use with props around the home that the really sky is the limit.
I love flat lay.
Yeah, it works brilliantly on Instagram. There's such a big thing about flat lays on Instagram. They're so appealing and alluring. So how do you take photographs of yourself then when you are abroad? Do you pop the camera on a surface and hope for the best, or what tips would you suggest for that one, for the personal brand imagery?
I think if I was in them, likely I wouldn't take them myself. You know, phones are so easy to use these days. You can pass it to someone who doesn't even speak English and they know what you want.
Yeah.
But if it was something I wanted to style more myself, I could be specific by asking someone what I'm trying to capture. But if I was to take it myself, I would use a mini tripod,
Great.
put the camera in, do a few tests myself, and
Yeah.
get a little clicker.
Nice. Great touch. With the remote wireless controllers are fantastic because they're normally built into the little tripods these days. So they're really, really convenient. That's a super, super tip. So tell me, when it comes to you're sending out your newsletters and your LinkedIn, a very different voice compared to Facebook, compared to Instagram. How do you plan the content all around those with very much the similar images, but you'd have to deliver them in a different style?
Yeah. So Instagram would be more the wow factor. So, oh my God, check out this amazing picture I took in Italy on a roof, or, you know, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
I could use that same picture then on my blog, which would be as an image of everything I'm talking about on that trip. I could use it then on my Facebook page for my business to tell, and that's really where I can be personal about what I do as well as what I'm doing for other people, and that would include some content about the experiences I've had. So it might be one of my top 5 things I did in Switzerland. I'm working on that at the moment, actually. And then top 5 things I did in Switzerland, and there'll be a picture to go along with each of those 5 things. But then on LinkedIn, maybe less travel photography on LinkedIn, but it would be maybe more stuff that's relevant or topical. I think for there's things in the news, maybe if there was something going on at Heathrow or something I could talk about, or a service I got from a supplier I travelled with or something like that.
Right. Okay, that's really interesting because we think with LinkedIn, it's business to business. So yeah, perhaps the travel photography wouldn't be that interesting or the right location for it, whereas Facebook and your blog 100% is. So what do you find more reception? What do people respond more to when it comes to on Facebook? Is it the kind of the style shots? Is it photographs of you? Is it locations? And do you see that pattern across other social media platforms?
It's really quite different, actually. So on Facebook, the stuff I get the most response to is if I'm in it, if there's actually me in it and it's really personal, whether that's a video of me talking to the camera or a photo of me somewhere and I've got something to say about it. And that will go wild compared to any photograph of a beautiful sunset or a harbour or something like that, which I find really quite odd. Whereas on Instagram, it's just what it looks like, how great it is. But it's very different. I don't get business from Instagram.
No.
Well, I don't try to anyway, but Facebook I do get a lot of business from, because people can see real stuff. It's real, right? Yeah. So and they all work well together. So if I've got a client that's talking about going somewhere or they want some inspiration and I suggest somewhere and it's somewhere that I've been, the best thing is not only do I get to say, oh, you'll really like it because X, Y, and Z, and I've done this and that, but here's the pictures, right? Here's the proof. This is real and it's amazing. And that it definitely helps me sell.
Yeah, I mean, it's the personal story, and then people feel as if they can trust you then, because if you've been there on holiday, then they'll be able to go on holiday and have that connection. So it's a really, really special way to connect with your audience. So you mentioned when you're on Facebook that you do videos of yourself. They look so slick and so professional. They really do, and they're so informative. Why don't you tell the viewers just now how you structure them, how you plan them, and how do you execute them?
Well, it's obviously during lockdown, and I live on my own, by the way, so it's quite difficult. If you could see what goes on behind that camera, stacks of tables and all sorts, right? But I use a tripod, desktop tripod, and I'll put my phone into that. And my best tips are probably to stand back from it so your hands are free, because people express themselves quite a bit with their hands.
That's it.
And make sure it's at eye level,
Mm-hmm.
so you've got eye contact. But my best tip is to use an auto cue. So I use a little auto cue app, and it scrolls what I want to say. And the best thing about that really is that being able to prepare what you want to say. So I'm not stumbling or repeating myself or waffling, but keep it short and sweet, and just make one simple point. And if you've got that scrolling in front of you, you can't get it wrong. But I'm sure it's the eye contact thing that makes it look professional. An auto cue app is brilliant. And I also find that this might just be my opinion, but when I start talking, I never introduce myself. I think I don't need to, because people know who I am, but it makes me cringe. That's what makes me cringe. So I just start by saying what it is I'm going to be talking about. And I think lighting as well, like make sure you've got some natural light from the window and that it's not directly behind you.
Because you'd be silhouetted otherwise if it was behind you. So the light coming in on you just now is perfect for videos and for conferences like this. So they're fantastic tips. I've actually made a note of Q app. I've not heard of that before. So that's a brilliant idea. Just one last one, because we're coming up to just over 15 minutes. It's been really informative what you've said so far. Thank you so much. But why would you think? Where do you think your photography has came into your business? Were you really focused on photography at the beginning of your business, or do you think that's something that you've progressed? And do you think there's been a pivotal point? Could it be the time when you got your Samsung phone? And do you think that it's been a bit of a game changer to your business?
Yeah, absolutely a game changer. I think when I really started incorporating my own good photography in the last couple of years, and it's largely, I think recently, largely down to the Samsung, the quality of that can be achieved on the phone, because there's loads of other things you can do with it, live focus and things like that, which I love playing with. But I think the more I do, the more it's important to me to have real imagery and not ever having to use stock imagery. I'd rather recreate my own stock if I wanted something like that. And it's so important to me how I've seen my clients respond to it, because my business relies on repeat clients. Can you imagine if I sent someone somewhere and it didn't look like the picture?
Oh my goodness! Wow.
But knowing I can prove that's real. And it's fun as well. I really enjoy it, and I'm much more confident doing it when I've got good tech and great advice, people like yourself giving me all sorts of tips and knowledge to improve what I'm doing. And I think as well, with some basic editing tools that you can advise on those things, then you can just, if you love it, then it's great. So it makes me feel good about it, knowing that it looks good.
That's it. So I think kind of the fundamental point there is that you don't have to have the latest and greatest, biggest camera with 20 different lenses and 7 different tripods to go away on your short break or holiday. You've got all the power in your smartphone in the back of your pocket. And then we can edit from the phone and then upload instantly to get really creative, wow-looking images. Marie, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to speak with you today. Remind us where we can find you on socials and your website.
Thank you so much for having me. You can find me on Facebook at Marie Rowe Travel, or my blog, marierowetravel.blog.
Excellent. I will pop some links in the comments after the video once we're finished. But thank you so much again, my lovely. It's been really great talking with you. And to everybody else out there, if you've got any questions about travel photography or personal brand imagery using your smartphone, I will keep an eye on the comments over the next few days, and Marie will pop in as well, I'm sure, and answer any questions that you might have. But for now, have a wonderful bank holiday weekend with some lovely sunny sunshine, and we'll speak with you soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks.
Good weekend. Bye.